Welcome to the live stream. So, today I'm talking all about embodiment, and if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer that. So, first of all, I'm Sumit Chatterjee. If you're watching this for the first time, I am a flow state specialist and catalyst. I help people get into the zone, and in fact, not only get into the zone, I help people actually stay there in the zone and make it much more sustainable for them, where they have that momentum and they can actually amplify themselves and be better at maintaining that. So today I'm talking all about embodiment. We live in a culture and a society right now where there is a lot of uncertainty. And by the way, I'm doing this on my laptop because I know that if I were to do this live stream on my phone, I'd be getting thousands of calls, I'd be getting distracted by notifications and so forth. So intentionally, I'm actually practicing embodiment through this video. And the key word here is intention. You got to make it intentional for you to practice embodiment. Embodiment is natural to us, and it's one of the flow state preconditions when it comes down to group flow, but also start to understand that it affects your own flow as well. Okay, deep embodiment. How you embody is really important, but what does that mean to embody? When somebody's embodying a certain idea or embodying a certain philosophy, it means they're living it, it means they're being it, it means it's a part of their character. It doesn't mean that they're thinking about it, it doesn't mean that they're talking about it, it means that they're experiencing it. Okay, they're experiencing a certain energy, they're experiencing a certain frequency. So to be embodied simply means that your center of gravity, and in a sense, your center of gravity is your center of awareness. Your center of awareness is not just up here in your mind, trying to analyze, trying to look at this world from this mental framework, trying to understand it instead of living it, instead of surrendering to the moment, instead of feeling alive in your heart, in your gut, or your core. So the first question to ask yourself really is, where is my center of awareness? If you tune in right now into your body, where do you feel your center of awareness? Maybe it's in your elbows. Well, I don't know. I don't know where you feel your center of awareness. Maybe you feel it at the bottom of your feet. Now, a lot of people confuse this thinking that, oh, it's where I feel tension. That's where my center of awareness is. No. It's where your body rests naturally. So where does your body rest naturally? It's not where you feel stuckness or an avoidance or sense of resistance. That is there. And with mindfulness, we can correct that. However, it's important by recognizing first and foremost, where does your body rest? Where is your resting center point? Okay. In the Taoist lineage, they talk about the Hara line, okay, which is your center of energy. And primarily, it rests in the lower dantian, so it's like the bottommost part of your belly, okay? But where do you feel that you're resting in your body? I noticed like I have a little bit of extra skin on my lips. I wanted to chew it right now. That's why my face morphed in that way. Now I feel like my eyes slightly watering because I just took a shower before this and I put on a facial scrub, which I might have a reaction to. I noticed some acidity or some heartburn. I noticed some tension in my toes, my knees, and my upper back and my lower back. What are we doing right now? We're pointing out what's going on with our body. Now I feel an itch emerge right here, top of my head, right at this point. Now you guys don't care about this obviously, but you have your own process going on. You feel that there's a lot of different things going on in your own body right now. And you got to be present and ask yourself, what is really going on? Wirgo, W-I-R-G-O. What's really going on? And once you can point out what your body is doing, you're speaking not only from authenticity, integrity, sense of consciousness, because you're being conscious of your body now, but you're letting go of any of that tension as a byproduct of that. I noticed that when one of my hairs falls over my face, it's going to distract me, right? It's going to distract me from the outcome that I really want to portray because it's going to be tickling my face, correct? Similar to that, there's a lot of different things that can distract us that don't have to be physical reminders. They can be mental reminders. You'll notice people who are very in their head, they talk very nasally as well because their center of rest point is not here or deeper, but it's up here. And so they're talking very much up here like this. Hey there. And you notice a lot of like American cultures, Australian cultures, they'll talk more nasally, right? They'll talk more nasally from up here. It's very interesting to note that. Very interesting. Because why do nerdy people who are very stuck in their head, they sound very nasally? Because their center of attention is up here. So, if I had the sixth molecule and I wanted to interpret it in the very sixth dimensional chloroform era, then I have to engage with the microcosm of the vacuousness of the ocean that can interpret. You see, it's very like it's like very, you have to push it out. It's not natural. There's this extra sound blocking, right? It's a blocking quality. It's like your words aren't freely moving through the system. There's an extrinsic block, intrinsic, I should say, as well. So it's a part of your behavior and it's a part of your character now. It's very difficult to notice that. A lot of valley girls speak here from the nose, right? Why is that? Valley girls are very into their smartphones, very into stimulating their minds, their brains. They're up here. So they're like, oh my God, Becky, right? And so that, I don't know. And the vocal fry happens. Your vocals are actually frying. Think about this. Your vocals are frying, right? Like if there was a fire that was slowly frying your vocal cords from actually speaking and enunciating. But if you're deeper, if you're speaking lower from the gut, try this with me right now. Try vibrating your voice with a hum. I just felt my food trying to digest right now. That's what that was. See? When you point this out, it's just natural that it goes away. So here we go. Now change the frequency, go up and then down. Go. Feel it up in your nose. Feel it up here, going up here. Hey there. How's it going? And now I want you to move it back down. Go deeper with your hum. Now you're feeling it here, right? Now you're feeling it here. Hello. 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 You see what I'm saying? So that's the process. This is what is happening right now. Is it's going lower to higher, and you're seeing the difference. If you're speaking from your gut, you're going to have a very attractive, lower, deeper voice. And for men, that might be particularly exciting to try out. For women, you might not want to speak from your gut all the time. It might be intimidating, right? Because it sounds very masculine to come from the gut. It does sound very masculine. You're right. However, you still don't want to go very, very high and nasally up here. You still want to bring it back down to your throat and speak from this area. For women, I'm saying. Okay. So embodiment is not just this thing about, oh, tuning into your body, feeling good within your body. Of course, all of that is there. That is very relevant, and we can talk about it. Being mindful, experiencing and living life fully. Like if you go on a holiday, you want to enjoy Machu Picchu, by experiencing it and feeling it through your body and your senses, not just understanding it logically and seeing it like a postcard when you're actually there, right? You see a lot of people who are there at the moment, at the concert, but they just have their phones out. Why? I've done this before. I've been to a Drake concert. I had my phone out most of the time. Why? Because it's so cool to see Drake, man, right? It's like I want to prove to people that I was here so people will like me instead of actually experiencing it and moving through the rhythm and enjoying that, right? It's like, wow, they have all of these strobe lights and all of these amazing backgrounds and like all these vocal shifts and, all these cool things happening, but I'm looking at it through my phone. It's like trying to look at the moon through your phone camera. You can zoom in, but it's going to be a grainy quality. It's not the quality of these things, your eyes, which you naturally come with in this world. The same thing happens for embodiment. You can't fully embody if you're consciously, or I should say unconsciously, looking at these images and imagery that's actually being distorted all the time. Because Photoshop and all of these different things is not really embodiment. Actually, you could see it as the opposite of embodiment, right? You can see it being this very unnatural thing. However, embodiment is natural. It's organic. It doesn't have any additives. It doesn't have any preservatives. And understand that our body is made of 99% energy. Like it's only 1% matter. Okay. So what does that tell you? What does that really tell you? It tells you that as human beings, we are responding to people's energy more than we are to their physical body or their matter. Of course, that is important. We live in a world of appearances, and the veil of Maya can tell us, oh yeah, this is a very attractive person, and I'm very, I'm aroused by them, or hey, they're presentable, or they look good, in a sense. And I know it sounds like a a yoga pamphlet, but what does their soul say? What is their signature essence say? What is their energetic blueprint saying? All right? It's very important to consider these things, okay? So I know someone was gonna ask me about being on this live stream, so I'm just gonna go message them real quick. I'll be right back. All right, let's see here. Okay. All right. So, in other words, people don't respond so much to words, which is, of course, words are made up, right? We made them up. We as humans, we made up these things called words, which help us translate what this energy is saying and doing. And we're modulating it through this context where people can understand us better, in a sense. All right. So, in other words, you know how people say, I feel you, man. I feel you. I feel you, bro. That's what's actually going on. People feel us. People actually feel us. They're not reacting so much to what we're saying, they're responding to our energy and how we embody that energy. You'll notice a lot of charismatic people, they're embodying their energy. Because what is charisma? Charisma is just life force energy living through a living being. And a person with a high level of energy that they're transferring throughout their free-flowing fluid body is a charismatic individual. Which is why things like, semen retention, or even just like, going off of wasting your energy, you could say, in a sense, people appear more charismatic, just in general, right? Because they have more energy. Some people have way more energy than they know what to do with. This is when you need a movement practice, an emotion practice, an energy in motion practice. You see what I'm saying? So a movement practice is actually an emotional practice, and people miss that art form. People actually miss that. They're like, oh, it has nothing to do with my emotions. I'm just moving around. No, you're actually moving energy around. Therefore, your expression is now physical rather than verbal or mental or energetic. Well, it is energetic in a sense too, right? So when you die, when you go to the grave, guess what? How will people remember you? Will they remember what you did? Will they remember you by who you were? Or will they mostly remember how you made them feel? Because this law of state transference, flow state transference, we can call it, is very, very valid. How you feel, they feel. How they feel, you feel. We can read other people's energies, therefore reading other people's emotions, therefore making us humans. Humans are meant to do that. If you can't do that, if you can't read somebody's emotions, you're cutting off the circulation to your humanity. That's just the truth. I can't say it any other way. So when you give yourself these boundaries of saying, okay, I'll feel good only when I get a raise. Only when I get a raise, I will feel good. You're extending your power away. You're saying my power is over there when I get that raise. You're not using your personal power and saying, I feel fully embodied right now. What's a better way to say that or approach that is, I choose to focus on feeling good now. And when I'm doing that, my performance increases, which then will be a better energetic match for my higher compensation or my higher wages, my higher price point. See what I'm saying? And then you will get a raise because you're feeling good. And when you're feeling good, good things happen to you. You can put that down as a law of the universe, but I'm just simplifying it. But you've noticed this. When you're feeling good, good things happen to you because you're at a higher vibration. And so those things also at a higher vibration are matching to your frequency or vibration. Correct? So embodiment is just the fact of you feeling more and choosing to focus on feeling. And it is a practice. Okay, it is an art form, it is a practice. So it's not going to happen overnight for you. But once you practice feeling into your body, feeling more alive within your body, having your center of awareness deeper into your body, you will notice that you'll start caring more, and you will notice what makes you deeply human. Okay. What is embodiment? Embodiment is being real and authentic. Embodiment is focusing on your awareness. Embodiment is seeking novelty through experience. Embodiment is expanding your references and your contexts of reference, contextual references. Embodiment is experiencing the mind, body, and the spirit as one. Embodiment is valuing yourself as a holistic individual, human being. So you start valuing your wholeness, not your fragmentation or your stuckness, right? And there's this quote by Lao Tzu that I wanted to share with you guys because I think it's very powerful. Basically, what he states is, because one believes in oneself, one doesn't try to convince others. Because one is content with oneself, one doesn't need others' approval. Because one accepts oneself, the whole world accepts him or her. This is very relevant when it comes down to the topic of embodiment. Because once you truly accept yourself, you accept your own body, you accept your own mind, you accept your own spirit, and you're aligned, you're changing that framework around. You're coming from a different energetic standpoint, or your home. And all home is your body at rest. It's all parts of you integrated. I used to think that home was somewhere external, right? We talk about in this society, in this politically correct culture, of having safe spaces. Oh, I need a safe space to talk about this. You know what? I think the safest space that we can have is our own bodies. Isn't that the safest space where we can reside, or we can make our home? So if you know that this is your home, why are you mistreating your home? That's the thing. We mistreat our homes all the time. And that's okay. Sometimes we mistreat our friends or we mistreat ourselves. I mean, sometimes that's just a response. It's a learned response. It's just a habit. You know what I mean? We're not doing it on purpose. We're not trying to forcefully, like, you know, mistreat our bodies. We're just doing that because that's all we know. But once you start looking at your body as a composite, as a storage system, as a home of all of your past experiences, your experience of your body and embodiments will change. Once you look at your body as a library of past memories that are stored within this physical body, your idea of embodiment will change. I know there's this book called Your Body Keeps Score. It's about traumas and things like this. I think that makes sense to me. Where your muscle memory actually holds on to a specific memory that gets trapped in your body energetically for a really long time. Right? So right now I'm kind of winding down. So if you guys have any questions at all, I would be happy to answer it. And yeah, from that standpoint, I could, and it doesn't have to be on embodiment. I can answer any questions in particular. Okay. Let's see. Someone's also asking me questions on this post on Instagram that I asked. So I said just ask me a question. So I'm getting those questions too. Okay, so I have a question from someone. It says, "I feel fear being a leader. Any advice?" Okay. I will answer this in a post, but I also just want to say, okay. So you feel fear being a leader. First of all, understand that fears are very irrational. Okay. And most of the time, people fear being leaders because they're worried about what other people are thinking of them or think about them, right? So it's really important to recognize that as a leader, you care about the well-being of your tribe. Okay, you're a leader compared to your tribe. So first of all, to be a leader, you've got to have a tribe, right? Secondly, you feel fear stepping into a leadership position. That means you're worried too much about what other people think of you, more than the purpose, the mission, the vision, the values, the goal, the end result of your leadership. So my advice to you would be focus more on your mission and what you're bringing to the table as a leader rather than the fear or the resistance, right? Because we get fear and resistance from doing everything, right? Felix says, "Oh, wow. Thank you, brother." So, we get fear from doing pretty much anything, right? But Carl Jung, one of my favorite, psychiatrists, I prefer him to Freud because he speaks a lot about the right brain in a sense, rather than just the left brain. He goes into the mystical realms and learn from alchemy and things like this. He says that fear is where your next task is, right? And I love that because that gives me a better roadmap than what life has given me for so long, which is run away from fear. Fear is bad. It's danger. Just because something is dangerous doesn't mean we have to run away from it. That's the thing. We just have to become dangerous people, right? So we can handle those things. So that's the way that I've seen fear is like, okay, maybe I feel this resistance from being a leader, being, a person in power or whatever. Understand that people need you now more than ever, right? as a leader. People need you right now more than ever. It's like, yeah, they could have needed you a while before this whole pandemic thing happened, but now they need you even more. Because we need leadership right now. So don't be afraid to step into that, because there's thousands of other leaders thinking the same thing that you're thinking right now, is that I'm scared, right? I'm scared. Mommy, I'm scared, right? You don't need that. Just bypass that, because the thing is that resistance, you know what my mentor AZD said, the resistance is where you can actually practice your seduction, right? So you need it. You need it to be able to do something with that energy. Right? So the fact that you're feeling fear tells you that that's the route that you need to go in, that you need to be a leader right now. That's what I'd say. And yeah, let me see if there are any other questions here. Go through. Okay. I don't really understand this question, so I'm going to skip this. This person just give me a dot, so it's not really a question. They're just like dot. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's their higher self speaking to you guys, you know, and they really mean something very deep, and that dot is actually meant to mean something, right? The dot of life itself, the dot of infinity. We are just a small dot in the cosmic, you know, all that shit. So, okay. So someone is asking me here about how to have a warm energy about you. You seem to have a warm energy. How do I have a warm energy about me? Well, let me ask you this, man. Whoever asked me this, I don't know if you're watching live. What do you see in me? Because whatever you see in me, you know that is in you, because we are mirrors, right? So warmness is a heart energy, right? Passion, love, heat, purpose, right? Just that's it. That's that warmth. And I want to really state here that you can't just have warmth, okay? You can't just have warmth. You're just going to be a friendly person then. Oh, he's a really warm individual. You need to balance your warmth with competence. You need to balance your warmth with a skill set of something that you're just so freaking good at, mastery of your craft. Now you're on another level with your warmth. So yes, maybe you can have warmth, and by warmth, I'm guessing you mean like sense of relatability, friendliness, you know, openness, things like this. But just being a warm person doesn't mean anything, right? You want to have warmth as well as be very skilled at something, be competent at something. Because only then you're getting to that charisma now. You're getting to that space where you're assertive. Assertiveness is not too mean, not too kind or nice either. It's like just right. It's just that right edge, that right push. My business coach, Joe, says, if you're not on the edge, you're taking up too much space, right? I love that. I love that quote from him. So yeah, you got to play it at your edge with your warmth. Let me tell you this. Imagine Sadhguru, right? Imagine Sadhguru just henched like a badass. You know what I mean? He's just jacked. Imagine he's on the IMC process, right? Imagine Sadhguru, but also has that masculine energy. Man, isn't that what we need right now? Isn't that the character that we need? Where we have someone so caring and loving and open-hearted, and yes, giving money to all these charities and whatever he's doing, right? And like awakening people through his yoga programs and all of this stuff. But again, he's covering himself with these robes, with his body. Right? He's like, don't look at me. So the real secret to warmth is, first of all, you got to learn to speak from your heart. Okay? That's one way to tap into your warmth, is learn to speak from your heart. I see 2 people watching now. So if you guys have any final questions, I'm going to be wrapping up in maybe the next 5 minutes or so. So make sure that you're communicating from a space that you care, you have compassion, and the care and compassion have to be, first of all, self-directed, to be other-directed. Because how can you love someone if you don't love yourself? How can you be compassionate about someone if you're not compassionate about your own self? If you're not having self-compassion. Imagine you're beating yourself up every single day, and then you go and love someone else. Wow. It's like you're valuing yourself that low to give that person more compassion than you're giving yourself. That doesn't make any sense. At least in my eyes, that doesn't logically add up. You see what I'm saying? So if we are practitioners of the 3 initiates of the Hermetic philosophy of as within, so without, we've got to be able to have that self-awareness, then the other awareness. And once we can do that and generate that warmth, and warmth also brings a sense of safety, right? It's a container of safety. Because you can't be half a gangster, right? You can't be half a gangster. Just like you can't be lukewarm. So you've got to be warm, you got to be cold. And you can choose to switch in every moment. But if you're being lukewarm, it's not as powerful. If you're being a little bit chilly chill, it's not going to work. Cold or warm? You're talking to me about warmth right now. If you're talking to me about being cool or cold, that's a different kind of frequency, different energy, right? You're saying, I see warmth in you. How do I become warm? Well, the fact that you're recognizing it already means that it is within you. Maybe it's dormant. Maybe it's stagnant. Maybe the warmth is just like building into just this heat that isn't being able to communicate through the throat, but it's there. You have that love within you. You're engaging with it, but it just doesn't have anywhere to go. If it doesn't have anywhere to go, if it's not being communicated to others or towards yourself or even to your environment, it's just going to stay there and the heat is going to build up. And soon enough, it's a volcano and you're going to say, fuck, or like, damn it, right? And you're going to put it out into the universe. And it's going to be an unhealthy process. It's going to come out in an unhealthy way. But it's really friendliness. It's really love. So what's happening here? You want to notice, is this genuine friendliness or is this virtue signaling and a distancing? Because we can be polite with someone to create a distance with someone too, right? Like in a professional workplace, it's like we respond to an email, right? Try responding to an email like, yo, what's up, brah? Yeah, I handed in my work, yo. You know, it doesn't work in a professional context, right? So we use these professional words to create boundaries with people. As per your last email, right? That's what we do. Sincerely yours, right? We use this kind of vocabulary to actually create more boundaries. Think about this, right? If somebody's, so how can we bring that warmth? Okay, it says my connection is unstable. Okay, connection is unstable. Okay, I'm back, I believe. All right. So, can you guys still hear me? Yes? You guys can still hear me? Okay. I want to take that as a yes. So someone comes up to us and they're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" Right? They're just being polite. Okay, yes, good. They're just being polite. They're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" Now you can respond just your general small talk, right? Just general way, whatever comes up. Be like, "Oh, I'm doing fine, thank you." And then now you're just in a world of small talk now. You know what I mean? There's no adding value. There's no interconnectedness or weaving back and forth. We need more lives like this. That's right, brother. Thank you, Ryan G. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing these every Wednesday. So I'm going to tap in at this time every Wednesday to give you guys massive value. So there can be this thing where we're like, "Hey, how's it going?" "Oh, yeah, I'm great." "Oh, how are you?" "Oh, that's fine. Thank you." But now if we're speaking from warmth, we're speaking from a level of compassion, which means we understand that that person tried really hard to say something to us and actually reach out. So we're actually seeing it within them that they had the courage to step up and have that icebreaker and say something. So if we're coming from warmth, how are we communicating back? We're saying, "Hey man, I really appreciate you coming over to me and saying something. That's dope," right? Acknowledgement. That acknowledgement is coming from warmth because we recognize what they had to do to say that. I have this story, and I'll end with this story, okay? It's a story that my father told me. He's a psychiatrist, okay, and he's a practicing Buddhist. So he's sitting in his office one day. This guy randomly comes in, yells some obscenities at him, profanities at him, and just slaps him in the face and then just runs away, right? People come into his room. They're like, "What just happened? I don't know what happened. Why did he do that?" Right? "Oh my goodness. Should we call the police? Should we report him to the high council of wherever he's working?" Everybody was freaking out. Now my dad is very zen, right? He's kind of he's a very zen character. He does lose his cool. He does very much lose his cool. I think that's why he got into this, honestly, because he has a rage. He has like an anger that just right. I feel that too because it's within me. It's probably genetic too. But he kept his cool. He kept his calm. And people asked him like, "Okay, what's going on? Why are you so calm about this?" Right? Someone just slapped you, disrespected you by slapping you in the face. Why are you so calm about this? And my dad is just like, "Just wait. I'm just processing something." "Okay, fine. We'll Mr. Chatterjee, okay, we'll let you rest, right? We'll let you process this." And so then what happens is the guy runs back in, he goes to his knees and he starts crying, right? He starts crying. And he goes, "I'm so sorry, sir. Please forgive me. I have a mental disorder. And I get these angry outbursts. And something you said, it reminded me of my dead brother. And I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I will never be outwardly violent ever again." Right? So my dad, he accepted his apology, sent him along his way. But then he demonstrated to his staff workers and later on in his meditation group where he told this story. He said, "This is a great example of compassion." Because he didn't know why that dude slapped him, right? He didn't know the context of it. He didn't know he had a mental disorder, right? In that moment, he just felt disrespected. He just got angry. He just, whatever would have happened to somebody naturally. I mean, my dad is very zen. Again, that's a different circumstance, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's really interesting to consider the context when it comes down to embodiment. Because once we know the context, that gives us power, that gives us empathy, that gives us this compassion. Because you are only you compared to who else is there in that environment. That's why Buddhist monks trained in Kung Fu. Absolutely, bro. I think my dad should train in martial arts or something, man. That'd be dope. I'm gonna actually train in martial arts soon too, from next month. So anyway, any final questions? I see 4 people watching right now. I'll take any final questions and then we'll dust this off. We'll wrap this up. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Listen to the replay if you missed some of this. This live stream was all about embodiments. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. So let me just give a timer for a minute, and then if no questions, then I'm going to end it. All right. Timer is set. Just because I have a session after this, like I have a client call after this, so I can't have this going for too much longer. You know, I would love to sit here and talk to you guys all day. I mean, treating others with compassion, great concept. Yeah, it's a very core concept in Buddhism as well. Thoughts on NoFap? Okay, really quick. Okay, Felix. So I'm doing NoFap, or whatever you want to call it, this month of September. No semen, semen retention September, right? So I've actually, I like the effects of no ejaculation. I think it gives you more energy. But first of all, you have to have an energy practice, okay? You have to have some kind of a practice where you're moving that energy from the base or the basal energy of your root to up into your heart or something like this, okay? Don't do it just because it's a trend, because it's catchy, because it's something people are talking about online. Do it because you genuinely want to explore it and you want to work on things like your self-control, your discipline, your mindfulness, your ability to, you know, basically use your sexual energy for something greater, right? So have a purpose in mind, have a thing in mind that you want to use it for, right? You want to basically give yourself a time frame. Like I've given myself like this month, so like 30 days, right? Then after that, I can do whatever I want. So the thing about it is when you give yourself little gaps of time like that, it's better, at least for me. I'm a very highly charged sexual individual. So I try to challenge myself through different, strings of time. I have noticed the beneficial effects of NoFap or semen retention. But it's where you're coming from, right? Are you doing it because you want others to think you're cool, or you're part of a community, or you want women to like you from like women attraction, or, it can't be any of that. It's got to be something personal to you and to use it as an advantage in that way for you, right? And like I said, once you have more sexual energy flowing through you, it's going to add to your charisma. All right, it's going to add to your charismatic character archetype. And you'll be noticing a lot more synchronicities coming. At least that's what I've noticed. When I'm on this process, I always notice more synchronicities. There's no science to back it up. There's only 2 scientific articles, that says one is like testosterone raises after 7 days, then drops again. Another one that shows that, it goes on for like 3 months. It's good to do that. Something like this. There's only like 2 main studies for this, so I can't look at it from an analytical or scientific angle. I can only speak from my personal anecdotal evidence. And what I found is it is very beneficial. However, just make sure you're pacing yourself. Make sure that you're using that energy for something like working out, or using it for your business or added focus or something like this, right? Awesome. Uni Raj says, but won't people take advantage of you if you show them compassion for no reason? Again, like I said, the warmth has to be matched up with competence, right? So you can't just be compassionate. You have to show strength along with compassion as well, right? Because I believe that compassion and empathy is also a privilege. You don't give it to everybody, just like, not everybody deserves your respect. Not everybody deserves your time. You know what I mean? So, of course, there has to be a level of discernment here with how we freely give. Now, the Buddhists would argue with me and say that, no, give your compassion to everybody, right? I don't think so, man. I think that you have to allow yourself to make it a character, like a behavioral trait for you to be a compassionate person, but don't freely just like, drain yourself and just give it to everybody like it's some kind of candy, right? You got to give it to the right kinds of people who truly deserve of it. Okay? Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. I'm out of time, but I hope you enjoy this. May the flow be with you. Stay legendary, and may you never be the same again. Os! Let's get it. End stream.